The history of the Jews in the Byzantine Empire is a long and complex one, stretching from the 4th century CE to the 15th century CE. During this period, the Jews of the Byzantine Empire experienced a number of periods of persecution and discrimination, as well as periods of relative acceptance. The earliest records of Jewish life in the Byzantine Empire date to the 4th century CE, when the Roman Empire was divided into the Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, and the Western Roman Empire. Jews had been living in the Roman Empire since the 2nd century CE, and by the 4th century, there were significant Jewish communities in Constantinople, Alexandria, Antioch, and other cities in the Byzantine Empire. During this period, the Jews of the Byzantine Empire were subject to various forms of discrimination, such as segregated housing, restrictions on trade, and even occasional outbreaks of violence. However, the Byzantine emperors were generally tolerant of Jews, and the Jewish population was able to thrive in the Byzantine Empire. Jews were allowed to practice their faith, and they often held positions of influence within the government. In the 7th century, the Byzantine Empire was invaded by Muslim forces, leading to the decline of the Jewish population. Jews were forced to convert to Islam or flee the empire, and many chose the latter option. During this period, Jews were often the victims of violence, and their numbers decreased significantly. By the 10th century, the Byzantine Empire had stabilized, and the Jewish population had begun to recover. Jews were allowed to practice their faith and play an important role in the economy. Jewish merchants were active in the international trade network, and Jews were involved in the production of many goods. Jews also played a prominent role in the intellectual life of the empire, with a number of prominent Jewish scholars, physicians, and statesmen. In the 12th century, a new wave of anti-Semitism swept through the Byzantine Empire, and Jews were once again subject to persecution and violence. This persecution culminated in the mass expulsion of Jews from Constantinople in 1453. However, Jewish communities were able to re-establish themselves in other parts of the Byzantine Empire, such as the Crimea and the Balkans. The final period of Jewish life in the Byzantine Empire came in the 15th century, when the Ottoman Empire conquered the Byzantine Empire. The Jews of the Byzantine Empire were allowed to remain in the empire, but they were subject to a number of discriminatory laws. Despite this, Jews were still able to practice their faith and maintain a vibrant cultural and religious life. The history of the Jews in the Byzantine Empire is a complex and fascinating one, and serves as a reminder of the importance of religious freedom and tolerance. Despite periods of persecution and discrimination, the Jews of the Byzantine Empire were able to establish strong and vibrant communities that flourished for centuries.